Starting today, we're going to be creating a series on how to grow your startup without advertising. So we're talking about the most creative growth hacks that are easy, lucrative, and fun. As the legendary marketer Joe Polish says, ELF, easy, lucrative, and fun. Now, these growth hacks are all techniques that I have tried at some point in my career. I've been doing growth hacking for about 14 years now, since 2014 when I first started my fitness and rewards app. And so I tried all kinds of things along the way. I was a broke bootstrapping founder. And yeah, there's a lot of valuable lessons that I learned. I grew that app to 46,000 users before I sold it. And I've done all kinds of different growth hacks along the way. So we're going to get started with one that I love that I did back in 2021 to 2022 with an app called HeyPal, which is a social language learning app. It is called the ASO ranking strategy. Now, ASO stands for App Store Optimization, as many of you tech founders know. If you don't, it's basically SEO, search engine optimization, but for apps. Now, I will let you know that we have just created a whole masterclass around this. It is basically 7 days and 7 videos of intense, deep learning around App Store optimization. And it's a very low-cost product. It's $49. So if you do want to get your hands on that, just hit the link in the bio. I will get you access to that ASAP. And you can also upgrade and get an App Store optimization audit. We're just about to launch this, so by the time this episode comes out, you'll probably have access to it at that point. Now, ASO is powerful for a few reasons. ASO is basically free ways to market your app so that when people search the internet, they find it, right? So that means you can get your traffic for free through searches. You can get App Store search, App Store browse. You can even get people who are Googling for an app that does X, Y, and Z. So it's a very handy tool, and it's also, most importantly, free, right? ASO is awesome because it's free. Now, whether it's SEO or ASO, there's always two components to this, right? There is the on-site component. This is what you put onto your App Store listing page, and then the off-site component, and that's the traffic that you're sending back to it, right? Today, we're going to focus on on-site optimizations. If you just make a few key tweaks to your App Store listing, you will start showing up for free in the App Store searches and the browse, becoming a recommended app on the Apple's App Store, and just start getting free traffic, free downloads of very high quality users. Why? Because those users are searching for a solution and they have intent. Typically, intent-based traffic is the hottest, leads to purchases very fast. It's people who are at the end of their buying journey who are ready to make a purchase. So that is why App Store traffic is really great. That's also why if you run App Store ads, they tend to be more expensive because that traffic is very hot, very high quality users. And you never have to worry about bots or anything like that. It is just prime tier 1 high quality users. So if you want your app to rank for free on the App Store, here is how you do it. First thing, keyword optimization. You need to research high volume, low competition keywords using some tool like AppTweak, Sensor Tower, or you can also use Google Keyword Tool. And you're going to look for, you want to export a spreadsheet of all the top keywords in your category, and you want to highlight the ones that are low competition, high search volume. So let's just say people are searching for food delivery 100,000 times a month. And that category or that keyword has a competition level of low. That'd be a very interesting keyword, right? Because that's a big, broad concept. And if somebody's searching for it, they're obviously looking to get their solution, right? They want to order something. They want to, find a food delivery app. And so it's a very ideal keyword to show up for. So if you find keywords that are high traffic, low demand, those are the ones you want to incorporate into your content. So you're going to want to put those keywords into your title, the app title, like the actual name of your app on the App Store. So we're about to launch this app called Echo, and it just says ECCO. That is horrible for ASO. I told the founder today, I was like, dude, we need to fix this up ASAP. You're getting horrible click-through rate on this. The reason is because people don't know what Echo does, right? This is a brand new company. It has got no brand out there. Even though they have incredible branding, nobody knows who they are yet, right? And this is why you're here in the first place. We need to tell people about your app. And we also need to tell them how it works. The way Echo works is it shows you what TV shows, movies, series is. Everything is playing across all the different platforms. So Hulu, Fire Stick, Amazon, you name it, AMC, whatever. You can search all of these platforms with one app, and you scroll a feed just like TikTok where you can see teasers and trailers for all the different shows. So it'll help you find out what shows to watch. So for example, when it comes to Echo, I would search for a keyword like find something to watch or TV series or movies, trending shows, movies, whatever. Find those keywords and put it right into the title. So Echo, find trending shows or find trending TV series or find trending movies instantly, right? So you've worked the keyword right into the name of the app there. So you put the keywords into the app name, and you're also going to put it into the subtitle, the second line, right? And then it could be instantly browse millions of shows in seconds in a TikTok-like feed. That could be like the explanation of the app. Whenever somebody searches for TikTok, we're going to show up because we got TikTok in our subtitle. Now, if you're running ads, it can be an issue if you use another company's brand name. But if it's just in your content, you could say like search Netflix, Hulu, etc. And anytime somebody searches for Netflix or Hulu, you're going to pop up because their keyword is in your app. So if you're a big company and you're stealing a lot of traffic from a company like Netflix, okay, you might have a little bit of a legal problem. But when you're a brand new startup, you're not going to have any issue with it. You're not going to be big enough for them to care about. So don't worry about stealing traffic. It's called conquesting, and people do it a lot up until they're big, right? So just to round that up, first thing you're going to do is you're going to optimize the content of your headline, your subhead, and the body content of your app store listing. Stuff it tightly with top, high volume, high demand keywords that have low competition and are highly relatable for your category. And also, you're going to want to make sure that your app store screens, so like the screenshots you can put at the top of the app store, you want to structure those as hook. You've probably heard this before if you watch this show. Hook, the first screen is meant to grab your attention. And then the second screen is the problem. The third screen is the solution statement. The fourth screen is social proof and credibility. So you can put testimonials, 5-star reviews, app awards, things like that. Maybe celebrity endorsements. And then you put that in the fourth screen, and the fifth screen is a call to action, like get started today free or download free today. So you want your content in the 4 screenshot options that the App Store provides. You want that to tell a story of the user journey, capture their attention. 80% of people say they can't find a TV show to watch in under 30 minutes. And then that would be your hook. And then your problem statement would be like, stop wasting time browsing your TV and start enjoying your shows. And then, meet Echo, the app that makes browsing and finding new shows instant and easy, whatever. That would be your problem statement, your solution statement. You could go a little bit into the product features and after you do the solution, and then go to social proof. They got Mario Lopez as a endorser or like a spokesperson for the brand, so definitely put him into that social proof slide. And then number 5, make the call to action. Okay, next up, when you want to maximize your App Store optimization rankings, you got to put an eye-catching app title and subtitle. We talked a little bit about that, but let me go a little bit deeper in here. So when it comes to writing out that title, keep it super short, clear, and keyword rich. So Echo, find new TV shows on Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime today, right? Really simple, really direct. And then the subtitle, reinforce the app's key benefits with additional keywords. Remember, less is more here. You want to be tight and succinct and short, especially if you look at how the apps show up on the App Store search and App Store browse, you'll see that like oftentimes they're cut off, right? Like you can't see the whole name of the app because they're too long. So just be mindful of that. You can research the number of keywords that show up in searches and so on and figure out exactly how many that is. So once the content of your App Store listing is solid and you have the right keywords in there, you're going to start showing up for more searches. But here's the hack, right? You can go to this tool called Optimizer. Now, Optimizer, that's what we would call like gray hat, right? Like they're going to send you downloads, but they're not necessarily going to be like the most legit downloads, right? But there's a purpose for this, right? So here's how you want to do it. Go to AppTweak or one of these research platforms. Look at which categories have the lowest competition. So let's just say this podcast, right? If I went into social media podcasts, or if I went into personal development or some really big broad category like that, you're going to have people like Tony Robbins, David Goggins, all these big names at the top, right? So what I did was I went into education, and then I went into personal improvement within education. So I went into a sub niche or a smaller category that was less competitive. And now this podcast ranks like number 39 to 40 on that list, like global rankings for this smaller category, right? But if I want to go and take on somebody like Ed Milet or one of these very large podcasts, I'd be a small shark in a big pond. Instead, I'm a big shark in a small pond with my smaller category. That is what you want to do with your app categorization, right? So you want to find a category that's not very competitive, find a little sub niche that's got a small subset of super fans in it, and you want to place your category there, right? So the category that you pick on App Store Connect is really, really important, because it sets the frame of reference, right? It's like, who am I going to be competing against? Am I going to be competing against Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok? Or am I going to be beating out these little apps who are, mom and pop shop type shows, right? So you're going to want to pick a category that's not competitive. Second, you're going to want to look at geographies. If you can be a national app, like if you can be in USA, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, United Kingdom, all the tier 1 English speaking countries, or maybe you can be worldwide, then you can get massive results from this, right? So what we did with HeyPal was, this is a language learning app, so it's global, right? People could use it from anywhere. So we went into small categories or small countries, and we spent a good amount of ads relatively, like spending $1,000 on ads in somewhere like, I forget all the little countries that it was, but like places like, we had France, Spain, Mexico, Canada, New Zealand, Australia. So a lot of these smaller, less competitive markets. And we also did some really small markets like Azerbaijan and Chad and Afghanistan, and like really tiny markets. And the reason is because let's just say we spend $1,000 in marketing in somewhere like Azerbaijan. There's not very many apps that are going to be released there. So then you can get to the top of the ranks very easily. You just spend like $1,000 and you got like 1,000 downloads in a day, and all of a sudden you're at the top of the charts, right? So what you want to do is you want to find like 3 to 5 small countries and then plan a little bit of a media boost at that time. Just a short one. 1 week is all you need, right? Because your app needs to be getting daily downloads for 7 days in order to rise the ranks in the App Store. So you're going to find some small regions, and you're going to remember your app is also in a non-competitive category because you picked a sub niche, and then you're going to spend all your marketing budget, like a big boost of ad dollars just for those 7 days. And I know I said this was ways to grow your app without ads. This is just one small sliver of ad spend. Let's just say somewhere between $1,000 and $5,000. It's not something you're doing like perpetually for months, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to spend that ad budget and drive as many downloads during that time as you can in these super small regions. Let's just say it's like Colombia and Venezuela and Chile, or some, smaller, less competitive categories, smaller countries, right? And drive up the results for a week. And then what that's going to do is rise your global ranks, right? So your app will be shown as trending because in all of these little countries, like for HeyPal, we're trending top 10. We're on the top 10 apps in 28 different countries. We're ranking top 10 in 28 different countries, and we just had it set to worldwide. So any downloads that came from anywhere, we would just let them come in, and the really non-competitive areas would be getting downloads for like a penny each. Spend like $1,000, you get like 10,000 downloads. And then, boom, we're at the top of the ranks. And then, of course, we did a press release about that. We're like, hey, HeyPal is ranking top 10 in 28 different countries, app stores. And then we also did another release about like, any of the good news that came from that. So these are some ways that you can maximize it if you're going to do this ranking strategy. And remember, it doesn't have to be anything expensive. You can maybe spend a few $1,000s on ads, but you do it in small, non-competitive regions, and you shoot yourself up the ranks. And then when you rise up the ranks in these smaller regions, your global ranks will rise and you'll start to get noticed on the App Store. AppBrain is good for tracking this. I really like AppBrain if you want to keep track of your ranks there. So that is how you do the ranking strategy. Again, it's kind of, you got to use a little bit of gray hat. Oh, I forgot to mention. Now, the way where Optimizer comes into this. So Optimizer is basically like a website where they will send you downloads and do App Store reviews. Really handy. Again, it's not like legitimate downloads. They're not like the most high quality users, but they're coming from real phones, real users, right? They're just not engaging at the same way that real users are, and they're not going to purchase like real users are. So the utility of Optimizer is to get downloads for like a penny each, and then they will drive your App Store rankings because you're getting so much download volume. They'll also send a bunch of traffic to your App Store listing page, just like Google. The more traffic your page is getting, the more credible that it looks. And so you'll start to rise the ranks, right? And so you can use Optimizer to drive your app up the ranks. And you could even do it somewhere more competitive like, Mexico compared to the US or Canada, right? Because if you can get like 10,000 downloads a day in a very small category like, let's just say like mom's health or, some small sub niche, then you could actually be ranking in the US using a strategy like that. So that's where Optimizer comes in. Now, a few things when you're doing your ASO and you want to hack the ranks, get ratings and reviews. You can get those from Optimizer as well. They are legit. They will stick around. They're not going to get deleted. You can also make sure that your app is available in other languages. So there's basically code settings that you can do where your app will be localized. So if somebody uses it in Spain, they're going to get a different Spanish than they would in Mexico, for example. And when you can be very international, when you can go to lots of countries, think of the HeyPal case study I told you about, like we were trending in 28 different countries. Now, I think there's something like 170 countries out there. I don't know. I forget exactly how many there are. But, I mean, look, that's pretty good numbers, right? So, also made a great press story. And we got a bunch of downloads from it, right? Like being at the top of the ranks for that long drove a lot of positive attention to us. We had a major company, a major language learning company out of Germany reach out about acquiring us after we had that nice little boost. So, you got to think about the other tangential benefits that come from, doing like a little bit of a PR push, a little growth hacking, and a little bit of ASO ranking strategy. So once your App Store listing is optimized and you've run your ranking strategy and you've grown a little bit, you got some ratings and reviews, your conversion rate's going to be good on your App Store listing page. The last thing you want to do is just like engage those users, right? Like don't let them just fall off. So set up a push notification sequence, set up some in-app messaging to keep them engaged for those first 30 days inside your app. Also keep in mind about having referral programs to encourage users to share it with each other. And just track the behavior, right? Like see what quality of these users are coming in. Remember, the whole point here is to get tons of free downloads of your app. So yes, Optimizer and these, worldwide international downloads are going to help drive the overall volume. But what we really want is the quality users from USA, Canada, Mexico, So the whole point is to drive your ranks on the App Store, your global rankings, and then you'll get a bunch more downloads because you're ranking top 10 like we were with the PayPal case. We're ranking top 10 in all these small countries, and it brings up our global ranks, right? So the whole point is to bring users outside of the ones that you're stimulating with all of these little growth hacks. And those are the ones that you want to keep around through the referral programs and the push notifications, in-app messaging, all that kind of stuff. And then I just recommend that you track the metrics, right? Like track your ASO metrics with App Store Connect and Google Play Console. A/B test different titles, keywords, and visuals to help improve the conversion rate on your App Store listings, and just continually be refreshing your listing to maintain those high rankings, right? Like Apple looks at how many app versions that you're releasing and how often you're making innovations and developments on your app, and they rank you based on that, right? So like if you are putting out a lot of app releases and if you're doing a lot of innovation and development of your app, fixing bugs and releasing new features, Apple sees that and they appreciate it and they help you rise the ranks on the App Store. So that is my little favorite hack for ASO ranking strategy. I hope it was helpful. I hope you inspired some ideas through this. Next, we're going to talk about Kickstarter and how to launch a Kickstarter campaign with $0. All right, I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. See you soon.